Manigong bagong taon sa inyong lahat, everyone. I hope I did okay on the Tagalog there. I wanted to share a little bit with all of you. I know I haven't seen several of you in months, and I don't post on Facebook very often right now. But I did want to explain several things and make a request, so, sort of all at once. So Happy New Year's and prosperous New Year to every one of you. I want to, just as I'm wishing you all abundance now in your coming year, I've built my plans for the coming year around the abundance that I shared with Menchu, and especially what that means to me individually as I continue to live out her memory, and even some of the things that I didn't have as much time for that we shared in our values together that I can do more of now. One of those things was writing, and I know I got to talk about that a little bit with all of you. In the middle of planning the memorial service, of course, I was not able to talk about very constructive things like that at a lot of length. We had a lot that was going on. But during time, I want to tell you all more about that over the coming year, and I want to do that on a weekly basis in a kind of a blog, just for the family and friends. So this is a kind of a beginning of that, and I want to tell you just a little bit about that project. So while Menchu and I were together at the very beginning, I had been kind of lost in pretty painful ways as far as any optimism about things that I had valued a lot in my earlier life, and seeing culture not really matching up with a lot of that. And our time together didn't necessarily force certain things that people would associate with a healthy household. They just grew out of our time together, like our call back to attending church. I had plenty of materials to read at home about religious concepts. YouTube was still there at the time with sermons and things if we had wanted to get parts of that. Religious music was online and things like that. But the call to a community was just sort of growing out of how much we loved each other. And I wanted most of all to share that with all of you. Being in a church, sometimes in the modern world, people think, oh, how can you agree with this thing, or how can you agree with that thing? It's not really about that we share all of our agreements with our family members or our church family members. But being a part of a community of people who share faith together is an important part of our growth in God's plan. And Menchu really helped me restore that and learn that in a real sense. I might have said it before, but I really learned that through our time together. Her eyes were always on the King of all in heaven. So I learned a lot from the dark places in some of the valleys and the hard climbs on top of some of the hills that I really want to share with people, especially through how she helped me figure out that my gift is really as a writer. And I had wanted to get more of her biography recorded even during her time, and I had told her that a few times when we didn't get down to doing some concrete steps on that. So I hope to start off these first few months sending you something every week with a little bit of a story. Most of them you're going to know at the beginning. As it takes shape a little bit and people send responses or send their own stories, I think that things will take on more shape, and I'd like to incorporate things that are not just the things that I know, but the things that you all know as well. And each week I'm going to try and share a song, most of them about Menchu. There may be times, like say a week that's my birthday or something, when I share something about how she connected with me. But I want this all to be specifically for you all. You were such a great portion of her strength. Even before our relationship, hers and mine were very deep. Her joy at all of you would just well over, like the cup of living water in the Gospels, running over with living water for the world. She couldn't contain how proud she was of all of you, and the joy that just seeing your personhood brought her, that she needed to share with me. So, as we get started with this whole process, I wanted to say that this whole thing, even though I'm here planning it, it's really about all of you. It's done to you. Hopefully it'll be done with you. It's done for you with all of you in mind. And hopefully a little bit will be done through all of you, so that it's not just me and is a little bit more of the larger part of her life. So this first one that I'm going to share with you all, I may have played for some of you at one point or another. I'm sure Maricel's heard it a couple of times, having been to our house a few times. I love to play it. Menchu knew it when she used to dance with Daddy, as she called him, if I remember right. But when Daddy would have her step on his feet and they would dance, this is one that she remembered. It's called Just the Way You Look Tonight. It's written by George and Ira Gershwin. And it was in one of the Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers movies, which we very much enjoyed sharing together during an early part of our relationship, a couple years in when we were in Hemet. The year or so between our engagement and marriage, we watched, I think, 4 or 5 of those Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers movies, including the Top Hat, which I think is the one that contains this song. But without further ado, I'll stop talking and I will share with you one of our favorite songs together, Just the Way You Look Tonight.